Okay, this video is for my pre-calculus class, and this is our functions classroom practice. I'm not going to do number 1 with you, but I'm going to do 2 and 3, and this is what I'm going to do during class, and I wanted you to have a video in case you need to look at it. So let's look at this one right here. It says consider the functions below. And right here we have f of x equals x squared minus 2x minus 8 that I know is a parabola, all right? And they want us to find f of 0 and then f of x equals 0. So this is a good one for input and output. If it's f of 0, if you think of this as f of something, box we will call it, equals box squared minus 2 times box minus 8, whatever I plug in there, you're just going to throw in the x as like a placeholder. So f of 0, and I want you to write this out, is going to be 0 squared minus 2 times 0 minus 8 equals negative 8. And if you think about it, that's the point 0, negative 8. Because 0, any number, is your y-intercept. So that's kind of cool. All right, I'm finding my y-intercept. Now this one here, it says f of x equals 0. See how they're putting the whole function equal to 0? So I'm going to basically, in this spot, put a 0. So I have x squared minus 2x minus 8 equals 0. Now this is different. I have the output, but I'm solving for the input. And this is factorable. So I'm going to go back to my factoring skills. How do I get the x squared? Well, it's x times x. What two factors of negative 8 are going to give me a negative 2? So that's minus 4 and a positive 2. Make my big T. X minus 4 equals 0 because we have to put each piece equal to 0. And to find my roots, or my x-intercept, if you will, or my zeros we call it, x equals 4 and x equals negative 2. So I have the point 4, 0 and the point negative 2, 0. So these are really our x-intercepts, because x-intercepts are always a number 0. So that's kind of cool. You're kind of doing the opposite to figure out what that is. So now we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it with a fraction. So this is going to make our algebra better. F of 0. So I'm going to plug in 0 in this spot and this 0 spot. So f of 0 equals 1 over 0 plus 2 minus 1, which equals, erase this down here, that's going to drive me nuts. And then I've got to say, okay, that's 1/2 minus 1, or negative 1/2. All right, so when I plug a 0 in, I get the point 0, negative 1/2, which is our y-intercept. Okay, here I'm saying f of x equals 0, so I'm taking this whole function here and putting the 0 in this spot. So I have 1 over x plus 2 minus 1 equals 0. I'm solving for this, so I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So I have 1 over x plus 2 equals 1. And then if I have a fraction equal to that, the easiest way is to cross multiply. So I have x plus 2, so I'm multiplying x plus 2 times 1 equals 1. I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides, so x equals negative 1. So that's our x-intercept, is a point negative 1, 0. Now, again, you guys can graph these and check them when you're done, but I want to make sure that you know how to do the algebra. All right, the last one I'm going to do on this video is number 3. So let's go over to number 3. And again, this one is basically, the pre-calc part is pretty easy because they're having you do this as your input. So I'm putting this wherever my input is, but our input's a fraction, so it's making you practice fractions and that type of thing. So I'm going to write this as f of something. We'll call it f of box equals box over box plus 1. All right. In each box, I have to put 1 over t plus 1. That's what they want us to do. They said that's my input, and they want to know what the output is. So I have, that's going to equal, ready, 1 over t plus 1. So I put that in the top box, over 1 over t plus 1 plus 1. I get it's ugly, but this is called a complex fraction. And when we do complex fractions, just to get you back in the swing of things, is you're going to multiply everything by the common denominator of t plus 1. All right, even though this is over 1, you're going to multiply them all by t plus 1. So if I multiply this by t plus 1, this by t plus 1, this by t plus 1, I get f of, 1 over t plus 1 equals, this cancels out, I have a 1 over 1 plus t, or t plus 1 right here, because these cancel out as well. Let me undo that. These cancel out as well. And then I have plus, then t plus 1. Oh, excuse me, this is just 1. That's confusing. Let's say that again. If these cancel out, all I have is a 1 here, plus, and then t plus 1 times 1 is t plus 1. So it's 1 over t plus 2. So it doesn't come out to be a number, but it's a nice fraction. And so that is how you do 2 and 3. So I hope that helps. Watch this again if you need to.